FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome, and you are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's the second to last day of January 2018. The year is already 1/12 over, just about. Hey, well, the market has been nothing short of amazing. Last couple of days have been down, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. As always, we want you to be part of the show. Please email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. So can the market go higher? Is 2018 going to be a back-to-back double-digit year for the stock markets? Good question. Well, Angela Sloan is with us now. Angela, your company is Sloan Financial Group, and you got into this game because a trusted financial advisor basically stole all your money a long time ago. So is this going to be a back-to-back double-digit year? And first and foremost, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. It's good to be here. And yes, I think it probably will be. I think what you're seeing right now is a little bit of a correction. Expected to see it, but I really didn't expect to see it until about end February, middle March. And I've kind of been waiting on it because I've got some money sitting on the sidelines myself. And, you know, when you have these little dips, that's when things go on sale and it's the time to buy. So keep your eye on it because the next day or two might be the right time to jump in and buy. But I'm glad to see this correction because when you see it just continually going up and up and up and up and up, it kind of makes you a little bit nervous. So
as well,
where the market is right now, a 2% drop would be about 500 points, and that's how much it dropped Black Monday, October of '87. So that's the more it goes up, the more a 2% drop hurts.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
I like to see these little corrections happen.
Okay, well, in the scheme of things, a few hundred points off of 26,000, not much, but you're thinking that it's going to finish up the year closer to 30,000.
I do. And here's what I'm basing that on. The unemployment figures are at an all-time low. You've got old business bringing old money back into the United States. You have new companies bringing new business back into the United States. A little bit concerned about our employee pool. I want to see more skilled workers hit our employee pool because, we don't have a lot to choose from out there right now if you're a company looking to hire because all the good ones are taken. You have these tax cuts, and that hasn't been baked into the economy yet because we're just starting to see that. And I am seeing, part of my business is tax returns, and I'm seeing very positive results in the forecast for 2018. On average, the forecast, if I take their numbers this year and say, okay, if it was 2018, what would this look like under the new tax plan? I'm seeing a savings between $1,500 and $2,200 per person on the returns that I've looked at. Now, granted, we've not seen the more complicated returns coming in yet. The returns that we've seen thus far, the more simple returns, a few of them itemizers. It'll be interesting to see what that forecast looks like when the more complicated returns start coming in. But for the middle income, the returns that we've seen thus far, it's quite a savings. And once that gets baked in, you're gonna really see more growth. And you're seeing it's almost like a party right now. The businesses are excited to spend, and for the first time myself as a business, I'm looking, going, hey, you know what? Let's bite the bullet and spend that $100,000 for that new big sign on the corner. Whereas before I was scared to death to make that move. So you're seeing a lot of excitement amongst the business world, and the fact that consumer spending has been up tells me that consumers are also very confident at what's going on in our marketplace.
Well, if you look at the U1 unemployment, it's down at near record lows, 4.1%. If you look at the U6, it's around 8.1%. And let's talk about all the people who went on disability because they couldn't find jobs. So really, the labor force participation rate, which is really the number that counts, is just barely starting to register. Do you think that's going to go up, Angela?
I do. But you know what? You have to have systems in place that makes it more advantageous to work than not work.
Yeah. So
I think that's been a big issue in the past. And even though it may be a slow transition, I feel like we're transitioning into that where people are going to say, hey, I'd really be better off if I were working. Whereas in the past, it didn't behoove them to go to work. So now you're seeing that transition take place.
Yeah, when you look at the record number of people on disability, the skewed employment numbers. So basically, we saw the labor force participation rate go down. We also saw the home ownership rate go down. Do you think that home ownership is going to go back to prior levels, or should it?
I think it will, and here's what I'm basing that on. I'm looking around me right here where I am, and I'm in South Carolina, a very small town. I'm about 25 miles south of Charlotte, North Carolina. So in my area, the housing market has gone bonkers. You put a house on the market, you have 2-3 people bidding against each other, and you wind up with a bigger offer than what you were asking. So our inventories are very low. There's not enough houses for sale. And if you're in a certain price range, especially, I know my brother put his house on the market Friday, and he had 3 offers on Saturday.
Yeah.
So same thing with one of my employees here. He put his house on the market Friday morning, and by Friday afternoon it had sold.
That's amazing.
So we're seeing buyers enter the market here in our area on by records. We're seeing it, and I'm hoping that that's going on across the country. So from what I'm seeing here in my area, yeah, I believe it will be at an all-time high before too long.
But if we look at the blue states, the states that have been hardest hit by tax reform, it could have the opposite effect for many of the wealthier areas in those states.
It very well could. It's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out by the end of the year, and especially by the end of next year, because that's when we will see overall how tax reform has affected those states, the ones like New Jersey, New York, that have the real high property tax and the high income tax rates. I'm really interested to see how all that plays out. Yeah. But I know here in our area, we're seeing very positive results. Mm-hmm. And, there's no way you're going to put a plan into place that's going to please 100% of the people 100% of the time. I mean, it's just not possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's always winners and there's losers, right?
Right. In most games, that's the way it has to be. Unfortunately. Yeah. But I'm hoping overall it's going to be very positive.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot more winners here than there are losers.
Exactly, and that's what you're after. You're trying to make it better for most, even though it's not going to be possible to make it better for all. And I'll give you an example. I did a tax return for a single mom. 4 children. The poor lady makes $25,000 a year, so she gets a lot of earned income credit, and she gets the child tax credit, and she gets that as a refundable credit because of her income level. And when I did the analysis on the forecast, her tax change was only $75 to her good for next year, but she was already getting she's paying in. I think on her W-2, her federal withholdings was about $400, but she's getting an $8,800 refund because of the earned income credit and the child tax credit. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, she'll only get maybe $75 more under the new tax plan, but my goodness, she's already getting $8,000 more than she paid in. So,
yeah, very true. There's been a lot of abuse with the earned income tax credit as well.
Yeah,
a lot of illegals taking advantage.
I know well. Her husband committed suicide. She's a qualifying widow.
Yeah,
and she didn't work outside the home before he died.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's thrown back in the workforce after being a stay-at-home mom all this time, so her job skills are not very good, and this is the best job she could get with 4 children. So she has a little bit rough, and there are some abuses out there with the earned income credit, but I also see a lot of cases where the earned income credit is very much needed.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it isn't here. Obviously, I think they need to tighten up the scrutiny at the IRS to ensure that we're not getting ripped off for billions.
Herein lies the problem. And what I see happen is when the people walk in with the IRS letters where they're questioning the EIC, it seems like they're targeting the ones that really do qualify for it. And the ones that come through and I'm thinking, they're telling me a lie and I know it. You can't prove it, but you just know they're lying.
Yeah.
They never get the letters.
Really? Is that true? Yeah.
Like on this tax return, this lady and all 4 children, they all have the same last name. Mm-hmm. She's always claimed the same children.
Yeah.
I have another case where every child, the parent, everybody has a different last name. Mm. And you think that would be a red flag. They don't always have the same dependents year after year.
Right.
You would think that would be a red flag.
That sounds like a red flag to me. I mean, hey, I'm not an accountant.
It is in my mind.
Yeah, it's what could be a bigger red flag than that?
But it seems like they're never the ones that get the letter questioning the EIC.
Hey, well, I saw...
Go figure.
Yeah,
broken system.
Yeah, definitely broken. Well, I saw like a person, he's getting a paycheck, roughly $2,090 was his check. I guess it was biweekly. And after the tax cut, he's getting $2,943 a week, and after the tax cut, he's up to $3,100. People like that. That's meaningful money, isn't it?
Absolutely. Gosh, yeah, that's groceries.
Yeah. Hey, if that's a crumb, man, then I love crumbs.
That's it. And, that's what I said. When Nancy Pelosi called $1,000 crumbs, she was talking about the bonuses that some of these companies were given. And I thought, lady, I guess when you're trying to fuel your jet, $1,000 is crumbs. But when you're a single mom or a middle-income family with mouths to feed, that's groceries.
Yeah.
That's not crumbs. That's groceries. She's so out of touch.
Yeah. So all these companies paying out bonuses, even Apple, all the companies cut across broad political spectrum, across the entire spectrum. They're all giving out money to their employees. Big, small, blue, red, doesn't matter. They're all getting it.
Oh, I was watching one of the big news stations, okay? And these guys are on there, these two, they were doing a talk show, and they were just bad-mouthing the daylights out of this new tax plan and how horrible it was. And while they were doing that, you know how they scroll across the bottom of the screen, the latest headlines?
Right.
Scrolling across the bottom of the screen was their news network, called out the call letters of their news network, is giving $1,000 to each employee because of the new tax plan.
So they're getting some crumbs.
I had a screenshot of that because if that didn't make those two look like idiots.
Yeah, totally ridiculous. But hey, that's the media for you. Nothing like consistency. So what about 2019? Care to hazard a guess?
No, I don't. Too many Black Swan events that could happen.
Yeah, we know that.
I hope we're going to continue to see growth. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe it pulls back a little bit. Like I said, right now it's like a party.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited. What's going to happen when people become complacent? And that's my fear, is that people will see this market going and going and going, and then they're going to become complacent, and then they're going to get a left hook. And you can never become complacent. Yeah,
that's the big enemy. And really, well, hey, we're just going to have to see what happens next here, Angela. People want to find out more about you, learn about what you do. Where's the best place to find you?
You can go to our website. It's www.sloan, like my last name, SLOAN, financial.net.
All right.
You can also call us at 1-800-298-2892. We'll be glad to help you any way we can.
All right. And look, if you got any questions, comments on this interview, any others, be part of the show. Email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. Twitter feeds at Kerry Lutz. The Facebook page is Financial Survival Network. Angela, thanks so much for coming on, and let's hope everything turns out the way you're expecting.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.